Today on Riffs, Beards, and Gear, we check out the tone from Mastodon's Blood and Thunder with Ben Eller.
Hey, kids.
Okay, so we are here at Sweetwater Studio, and they have basically let me and Ben do whatever we want in the studio for a week.
Big mistake on their part.
Big mistake. But you know what? That's neither here nor there. Now, in the studio, there is a Les Paul that is in D standard.
That's right. It's a lower standard, just like your mom's second husband.
Okay. That's...
Not your mom's second husband.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Their mom's second
husband.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of our favorite riffs that is in D standard is Mastodon's Blood and Thunder.
Ooh, it's a mighty, mighty riff.
It is a mighty riff.
We just got a new Mastodon album coming out. I've got Mastodon on the brain, so it seems like a good time to talk about it.
And you guys know Mastodon is probably my favorite band of all time.
Oh my God, I love this band so much.
I love Mastodon. So we thought this would be a cool opportunity to kind of get into the main guitar tone of Blood and Thunder. And then I'm gonna link down below in the description, Ben is gonna show you how to play it.
That's right, we're gonna cover that in-depth riff by riff on a very detailed installment of Weekend Wank Shop over on my channel, so be sure to scope that out.
That's right.
After you watch this, of course.
Yeah, so this video is mainly gonna be just our attempt at recreating the guitar tone. We're not gonna play the original track. I will link down below in the description for that. Copyright police, it's a big headache. We're not gonna do that here. We are gonna play the main riff, and only the main riff, because when I think of that song,
that's the riff,
That's
man.
the riff.
Yeah, that's the one.
Right.
And throughout this song, there's like a couple of different guitar tones that sort of weave in and out. Whenever you listen to the isolated track, which you can find here on YouTube, you can hear like whenever the chorus is bust in, it's like a hairier tone to make that kind of lift some more. The instrumental section in the middle is like also kind of nasty sounding, a little bit brighter to make that cut some more. So there's a couple different tones going in and out throughout this song, but we're kind of thinking of the meat and potatoes.
the essence.
The essence of the tone.
Right. So, what I did is we texted Bill Kelleher, our buddy from Mastodon, and we asked him,
hey, Bill,
what they used on Blood and Thunder track.
Pretty good way to find out how they did it, huh?
Pretty accurate, right?
I mean, anybody could do that, right?
Yeah. He said the following: I used Brent's JMP Cleanish for the intro. Not sure if I was using the laning yet, but I was using my Marshall 2210 with an Ibanez Tube King overdrive.
The Tube King I've never used. Is it like a Tube Screamer? What is it?
It was kind of like a Tube Screamer. It had a 12AX7. It was a big old thing. I remember seeing them in the catalogs of like Musician's Friend in the 90s. He hasn't used that in a really long time. That actually took me back when he said Tube King. I was like, oh geez, I totally forgot about those. So we are going to approximate this tone using, of course, this Gibson Les Paul Standard.
Pretty good starting point for anything Mastodon related.
Tuned to D standard, like the riff. We have chosen a Marshall JCM 800. This is a bone stock 2203 head.
Straight off the shelf, no mods.
No mods.
No nothing.
No nothing. We are going to boost it with an OCD by Full Tone, which is not a Tube Screamer E, but I feel like this is kind of captured the essence of a Tube King, because the Tube King was not Tube Screamer E. Okay. At least that I remember. It was a much more crunchy kind of a thing like the OCD was. We are going into a Marshall 1960 cab, just a regular old Marshall cab with Celestion 75 speakers.
Probably a good guess that that's about what they were using on here, I would assume.
Sonically, that's what it sounds like they're using to me. Doesn't sound like greenbacks or vintage 30s or anything like that. And we are mic'd up with a Sennheiser 421 and a really beat up Shure SM57.
Yeah. How did you align that? Because initially we had the alignment kind of dead center.
We did.
And then we messed with it and it's like, oh, sounds more like it now. That mic placement makes a huge difference, and I wish everybody knew that.
Yeah, the mic placement, so the 421 and 57 were originally, we started dead center in the dust cap of the speaker. This is going to give us that crunchiness and all those overtones, but it was too much, so we just moved it almost to where the cone meets the dust cap.
Yeah, and I think that's really important because the tones on this record, I think that they're interesting and I think they have a lot of character. We were kind of talking about this earlier. It's not the kind of tones that a lot of us would be like, oh my God, that's my favorite tone I've ever had. That's the tone I'm choosing to make my record with. And I like that about it.
It's so distinct.
Love it.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Yeah.
The tones on Remission are the same way too, where they have so much character. They're not by the book pleasing exactly, but I think that's more interesting.
I agree. I think these tones have a lot of character,
personality,
and I just love how in your face it is.
Oh, it's unapologetically rock and roll.
Yeah. So again, if you want to hear the whole song itself, I will link down below to Spotify where you can go listen to it. But Ben here is going to play the main riff, and then again, he's going to teach you the entire song over on his channel. Link down below in the description. But give us a little Blood and Thunder, Ben.
Let's see what that thing sounds like. Pretty doggone close in my book.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty dang good.
That's pretty good. The only post EQ you are hearing is the microphones are going in to a pair of API 550 EQs, and we are taking down a little bit of 800 or so, and kind of taking off a little bit of the top end. That's the only processing you're hearing on these guitar tones.
Yeah, some of the EQing you did on the amp is kind of interesting too. We've had this conversation, I think, several times over the weekend that we've been recording, where we talked about people that dial in tones with their eyes instead of their ears. Whereas if you just turn knobs until it sounds right and you don't look at it, a lot of times you end up with something that sounds a lot better. And some of your settings you found on here don't make a lot of sense if you're just looking at it, but you hear it and it's like, well, that's actually shockingly correct.
The bass is almost completely off. The mids are dimed.
Are they really?
Yeah.
What?
The mids are basically dimed.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
You got the highs. Where do you have the treble at?
Yeah.
A little bit over noon. Nothing crazy there.
No.
So bizarre stuff with the bass and mids. Typical of the kind of great tones you can get out of Marshalls. Those knobs you can dial in ways that don't make any sense.
Nope. But it works.
Sound amazing. Check out Eric Johnson's settings if you don't believe me there.
Oh, yeah.
They make zero sense. How much gas is coming out of the amp and how much is coming from the pedal?
The amp is not that gainy. I'll turn the overdrive off. Go ahead and play that riff one more time.
Sounds like the intro.
Sounds like the intro.
I hit it on. Sounds about like when the song starts versus when the drums and stuff kick in.
Yes, that's exactly it.
I would not have chosen that pedal, but it's really doing the work, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is.
Rad.
Pretty cool. The more you know.
The more you know.
Head on over to Ben's channel. We'll link down below in the description if you want to learn how to play Blood and Thunder. And thanks to Mr. Bill Kelleher for giving us the inside baseball and for writing such a great riff.
Oh my God, the best riff in Mastodon history, maybe?
The best. I would say
There's
that's a
some contenders
strong
in there,
contender,
man.
but yeah.
And
Definitely in the top 3 or 4.
Thank you to Sweetwater Studios for letting us invade their space and make some Mastodon here for you guys today.
Love that. And with that, fluff out. If you liked the video you just watched, please consider subscribing. And if you want to further support me and what I do, consider using some of the affiliate links down below in the description of this video. Go on over to Sweetwater, buy yourself something, and help me out at the same time. It's a win-win for both of us.